Good morning, viewers. It is Telangana State Athletics Association under the auspices of Athletics Federation of India, welcoming you all for the final day's morning session of the 60th National Open Athletic Championship 2021 at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, Hanamakonda, Warangal. We are about to take up the first event for the day, which will be the final of 10,000 meter for men. At 6:40, it will be the final of 10,000 meters for women. Only those are the two events for the morning session. We have 17 athletes for this 10,000 meter final in the men, and that happens to be the start of 10,000 meters for men. Bib number 587 M. Satish Kumar of Tamil Nadu, 387 Makan Singh of Punjab, 177 Aftab Ansari of Delhi, 661 Manoj Kumar of Haryana, 556 Man Singh of Services, 309 Kuldeep Singh of Madhya Pradesh, 333 Rohit Yadav of Maharashtra, 502 Dharmender of Services, 433 Dinesh of Railways, who happens to be the bronze medal winner of the last interstate, 130 Shravan Kumar Beniwal of All India Police, 458 Narendra Pratap Singh of Railways, 531 Karthik of Services, who happens to be the gold medal winner in the last interstate, 264 ND Sunil Dharmappa of Karnataka, 653 Pankaj Singh of Uttarakhand, 298 Sandeep Kumar of LIC, 181 Amresh Kumar Prajapati of Delhi, 144 Makan Singh of All India Police. 17 of the athletes are moving together. The national record for the event 10,000 meters stands in the name of Surendra Singh with 28 minutes 02.89 seconds, created in 2008. The meet record stands in the name of Shivanath Singh with 28 minutes 58.10 seconds, created in 1978. And that is 556. Who happens to be the leader? Man Singh of Services. Dharmendra, created in 1978. And that is 556. Who happens to be the leader? Man Singh of Services. Dharmender of Services is following him. Sunil Dharmappa of Karnataka is in the third position at present. Shravan Kumar Beniwal of All India Police is in the fourth position at present. It is Man Singh of Services. Dharmender of Services happens to be at the second spot. And that is the giant balloon indicating the National Open Athletic Championship at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, Warangal. And that is Man Singh of Services still leading the bunch. Karthik Kumar of Services takes over the second position. They'll have to go for 22 more laps. Man Singh of Services still leads the bunch. Almost. That is Man Singh of Services, Kartik Kumar of Services, and at the third spot, Man Singh Kartik Kumar. Man Singh moves to the third spot. Dharmender of Services is the leader, being followed by Kartik Kumar of Services and Man Singh of Services. Dharmender, Kartik Kumar, and Man Singh. At the fourth spot, we have Amresh Kumar Prajapati of Delhi. In the fifth spot is Shravan Kumar Beniwal of All India Police. Seven of the athletes remaining as the lead bunch, leaving one just behind, some 5 meters away, and following that we have 10 meters away we have two more athletes to follow, and that is Kartik Kumar of Services taking over the leadership now, with Dharmender of Services in the second spot, Man Singh of Services in the third spot, Amresh Kumar Prajapati of Delhi in the fourth spot, Shravan Kumar Beniwal of All India Police is moving in the fifth place now. Seven athletes move as the lead bunch. In the seventh place, we have Narendra Pratap Singh of Railways. The lead bunch will have to move for 19 more laps. Kartik Kumar of Services, Dharmender of Services, Man Singh of Services, Amresh Kumar Prajapati of Delhi, Shravan Kumar Beniwal of All India Police, Narendra Pratap Singh of Railways in the seventh place. As they move as a lead bunch, an athlete follows them just 3 to 5 meters away. And that happens to be 433 Dinesh of Railways, who happens to be the bronze medal winner of the last interstate. He is at the ninth spot at present. Dharmender of Services, Kartik Kumar of Services, Man Singh of Services, Dharmender of Services is leading the bunch, being followed by Kartik Kumar of Services. Man Singh of Services now takes over the third position. Shravan Kumar Beniwal of All India Police is in the fifth position with Narendra Pratap Singh of it is Manoj Kumar of Haryana. Narendra Pratap Singh of Railways is in the sixth position. 502 Dharmender of Services leading the bunch, being followed by Kartik Kumar of Services, Man Singh of Services, Manoj Kumar of Haryana. At the fifth place, it is Shravan Kumar Beniwal of All India Police. In the sixth, it is Narendra Pratap Singh of Railways. The leaders will have to go for 15 more laps. As far as the last edition of this championship is concerned, the winner of the gold medal happens to be Ajay Kumar Saroj of Railways by clocking 3 minutes 43.97 seconds. Jinson Johnson, sorry, I would like to stand corrected. The first place winner of the last edition of this championship happens to be Suresh Kumar of ONGC with 29 minutes 25.56 seconds. Ranjit Kumar Patel of Railways for the silver with 29 minutes 41.35 seconds. Bukatu Srinu of Services with 30 minutes 03.50 seconds. And as far as the last interstate, Vikram Bharat Singh of Madhya Pradesh secured gold with 30 minutes 16.44 seconds. Kartik Kumar of Uttar Pradesh secured silver with 30 minutes 25.79 seconds. Dinesh of Maharashtra secured bronze with 30 minutes 50.74 seconds. And in the last Federation Cup, it was Abhishek Pal of Uttar Pradesh for gold with 29 minutes 47.49 seconds. Kartik Kumar of Uttar Pradesh with 29 minutes 48.21 seconds and Arjun Kumar of Uttar Pradesh with 29 minutes 49.46 seconds. Kartik Kumar is taking part in this championship with 531, who happens to be the leader. Kartik Kumar happens to be the silver medal winner of the last Interstate and Federation Cup as well. And another athlete by name Dinesh, who is available in this championship with 433, happens to be the bronze medal winner of the last interstate representing Maharashtra. And that is 531. Karthik Kumar of services leading the bunch. 502, 556 are the followers. Dharmender of services. Mansingh of services. And that is Karthik Kumar still maintaining his lead, being followed by, and I hope it's Dharmender of services moving to the front, leaving Karthik Kumar to the second spot, Man Singh to the third spot. Our leaders will have to go for 10 more laps. And there is Dharmender of services leading the pack, being followed by Karthik Kumar of services, Man Singh of services, Manoj Kumar of Haryana. Manoj Kumar of Haryana now moves to the. Yes, he is at the fourth spot. He remains at the fourth spot. And the leader happens to be 587 Satish Kumar of Tamil Nadu. Satish Kumar of Tamil Nadu takes over, being followed by 502 Dharmender, 531 Karthik Kumar, 661 Manoj Kumar, and there is Satish Kumar who is taking over the top position as of now, leaving Dharmender of Services to the second spot, Kartik Kumar of Services to the third spot. Manoj Kumar of Haryana is occupying the fourth spot now. Man Singh of Services is in the fifth place at present. And it is again Kartik Kumar of Services taking over the top position, being followed by Dharmender of Services. And Satish Kumar of Tamil Nadu, who was leading for a very brief period, is now at the seventh position. And that is Kartik Kumar of Services leading, being followed by Dharmender. They are getting separated as top two. From the bunch of seven, the lead bunch happens to be two. Kartik Kumar of Services, Dharmender of Services. They are the leaders. Kartik Kumar and Dharmender, both from Services. And that is Manoj Kumar, who is in the third place now. The leaders will have to move for 7 more laps.
That is the main record in 10,000 meters, 28 minutes 58.1 seconds of right. Jawaharlal Singh, year 1978 of Telangana. And the national record stands 28 minutes 02.89 seconds of right. Warangal Singh, in the 2008 of People.
That is Dharmender of Services leading the pack, being followed by Kartik Kumar of Services. Dharmender, Kartik Kumar are the leaders, both from Services. Dharmender, Kartik Kumar still maintaining the lead. They will have to move for 5 more laps.
The final lap to go, the most tiring event in track, 10,000 meters race.
And at present, in the third place, it is Manoj Kumar of Haryana. Dharmender, Kartik Kumar still moving together as the top two. For the third spot, we have Manoj Kumar of Haryana, who is almost 30 meters beyond, 30 meters beyond the leaders. Dharmender Kartik Kumar, top two, 30 meters away. Manoj Kumar of Haryana. They are the top three as of now. The leaders of this race will have to go for 4 more laps. And that is the point where we could see Kartik Kumar of Services trying to take lead, but he moves to second spot again. It is Dharmender of Services not allowing Kartik Kumar to go in front of him. Dharmender of Services being followed by Kartik Kumar, the top two. They will have to go for 3 more laps. Dharmender of Services, Kartik Kumar of Services. And this is the place where again Kartik Kumar is trying to overtake and he is putting himself in front. Kartik Kumar moving to the front, leaving Dharmender to the second spot. And his acceleration gains, he is moving still forward. Kartik Kumar of Services taking the top position. And that is Kartik Kumar of Services moving in front, having Dharmender at the second spot. And there you could see 587 Satish Kumar of Tamil Nadu, who happened to be leading the race some 7-8 laps back for a brief time. Kartik Kumar is improving his speed, moving ahead, leaving Dharmender far behind.
We try to give situations number 502 Government of Services.
502 Dharmender of Services leading the pack. Kartik Kumar following him. And there he overtakes. It is Kartik Kumar moving in front, leaving Dharmender for the second spot. And there is a bell indication for the lead runner to go for the last lap. Kartik Kumar of Services, who all along have been running just behind Dharmender of Services, had opened just 1.5 laps back and maintaining the speed, increasing the speed, increasing the distance between the first and second two. And Kartik Kumar is sailing comfortably well ahead of all the athletes, leaving Dharmender of Services to the second spot. And Dharmender of services is very much 10 meters beyond Kartik Kumar. Kartik Kumar happens to be the leader, moving well ahead without any threat closer to him. And that is Dharmender of services in the second spot. Kartik Kumar enters the home stretch for the finish of 10,000 meters. And there we could see Dharmender of services also entering. And Kartik Kumar finishes the race in style. And for the second spot, it happens to be Dharmender.
Well maintained. American International Services. For its second stop.
And that is Manoj Kumar of Haryana finishing for the third spot. Kartik Kumar of services had a very brilliant race. He was closely moving towards the leader, not leaving much of the gap, always maintaining the close. And in the last 1.5 laps, he improved the speed, started moving ahead, and finished the race in style. Kartik Kumar of services placed for the first with Dharmender of services for the second spot and Manoj Kumar of Haryana for the third spot. Manoj Kumar of Haryana, who have all along been running in the top six. At one or two brief times, he moved to the third spot and again went down beyond Man Singh. Man Singh was the very initial leader of this race for almost 4 to 5 laps, and after that, it was taken over by Dharmender, and Dharmender was the leader for very many laps, and thereafter it went to Kartik Kumar. Yes, and the 309 happens to be Kuldeep Singh of Madhya Pradesh. 264 ND Sunil Dharmapa of Karnataka. 587M Satish Kumar of Tamil Nadu. They're all towards the finish. 144 Makan Singh of All India Police. 653 Pankaj Singh of Uttarakhand. Yes, 17 of the athletes had taken part in the finals of 10,000 meters in the men's section. And we have come to the close of that 10,000 meters in the men's section with Pankaj Singh of Uttarakhand. Without the rise of the sun, the Warangal is enjoying a very pleasant weather in this early morning. And the next event will be 10,000 meter final for women. Well, at this stage, as we are about to take up only one more event for this morning session, which will be 10,000 meters for women, I'd like to keep you reminded of today's afternoon schedule. Today's afternoon schedule will begin right at 1 p.m. with hammer throw for women, which will be final, and all will be final in the afternoon session. At 1 p.m., hammer throw final for women. At 2:30 p.m., hammer throw final for men. At 3:30 p.m., triple jump final for men. At 4 p.m., 200 meters final for men. At 4:10 p.m., 200 meters final for women. Ladies and gentlemen, we will present you the results. Kartik Kumar of Services clocking 29 minutes 42.63 seconds bags the gold. Dharmender of Services by clocking 29 minutes 49.56 seconds bags the silver. Manoj Kumar of Haryana bagging bronze for a timing of 30 minutes 01.87 seconds. Shravan Kumar of All India Police getting the fourth place. Man Singh of Services getting the fifth place. Rohit Yadav getting the sixth place, Rohit Yadav of Maharashtra. After Ansari of Delhi getting the seventh place, Kuldeep Singh getting the eighth place, Kuldeep Singh of Madhya Pradesh. ND Sunil of Karnataka getting the ninth place, Satish Kumar getting the 10th place, Satish Kumar of Tamil Nadu, Makan Singh of All India Police getting the 11th place, Pankaj Singh of Uttarakhand getting the 12th place. Among the 17 contestants, 12 competitors had finished their race, and it was Kartik Kumar of Services took over gold in a style. He had been maintaining his second or third position all along the race, so close to the leader, and in the last 1.5 laps, he had picked up speed and he was maintaining the lead. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to continue with the schedule for the afternoon session, as the afternoon session starts right at 1 o'clock with hammer throw final for women, 2:30 hammer throw final for men, 3:30 triple jump final for men, 4 p.m. 200 meter final for men, 4:10 200 meters final for women, 4:15 discus throw women final, 5 p.m. 4 times 400 meters relay men final, and the last event will be 4 times 400 meters relay women final. Ladies and gentlemen, and that's the lineup. And that is 302 Chavi Yadav of Madhya Pradesh, 615 Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh, who happens to be the bronze medal winner of the last interstate, 314 Sanjeevani Baburao Jadhav of Maharashtra, the silver medal winner of the last Federation Cup, 251 KM Lakshmi of Karnataka, 626 Savita Paul of Uttar Pradesh, who happens to be the gold medal winner of last Federation, 430 Kavita Yadav of Railways, who happens to be the bronze medal winner of the last edition of this championship. Six of the athletes are taking part. The national record for 10,000 meters stands in the name of Preja Sridharan with a timing of 31 minutes 50.47 seconds created in 2010, while the meet record stands in the name of Kavita Rawat with 32 minutes 41.31 seconds created in 2010. And that happens to be the start of 10,000 meters for the women competitors. And that is Sanjeevani Baburao Jadhav of Maharashtra taking the lead, being followed by Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh. And at the third spot, it is KM Lakshmi of Karnataka. In the fourth one, at present, Chavi Yadav of Madhya Pradesh. In the fifth place, it is Savita Pal of Uttar Pradesh. And the sixth happens to be Kavita Yadav of Railways. Kavita Yadav getting herself into the third position. As they will have to move for 24 laps, Sanjeevani Baburao Jadhav of Maharashtra is leading the pack, being followed by Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh, Kavita Yadav of Railways, Savita Pal of Uttar Pradesh, KM Lakshmi of Karnataka, and Chavi Yadav of Madhya Pradesh. KM Lakshmi of Karnataka moves to the sixth spot. Chavi Yadav is in the fifth one. Savita Paul is in the fourth spot. Sanjeevani Baburao Jadhav, representing Maharashtra, who happens to be the leader, is the silver medal winner of the last Federation Cup. With a timing of 16 minutes 08.36 seconds. And she is leading the pack. At the second place, it is Jyoti. At the third place, it is Kavita Yadav. At the fourth place, it is Savita Paul. Four moving as a bunch, leaving 3-0 to Chavi Yadav to the fifth place, being followed by KM Lakshmi of Karnataka. The top four remains as the lead bunch, leaving the next two as the next bunch. And that is the lead bunch being led by Sanjeevani Baburao Jadhav of Maharashtra. And as far as the last edition of this championship is concerned, L. Surya of Railways bagged the gold medal for having clocked a timing of 34 minutes 14.10 seconds. Aarti Dattatray Patil of Maharashtra bagged the silver in the last edition of this championship for a timing of 34 minutes 49.86 seconds, while Kavita Yadav of Railways bagged the bronze medal with a timing of 34 minutes 51.44 seconds. And in the last interstate, it was Pooja Harijan of Rajasthan getting the gold for 35 minutes 29.59 seconds. Poolan Pal of Uttar Pradesh bagged the silver with 37 minutes 30.24 seconds. Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh got the bronze for having clocked 38 minutes 23.21 seconds. And in the last edition of this championship, Savita Paul bagged the gold representing Uttar Pradesh for a timing of 33 minutes 59.35 seconds. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra, who happens to be the leader of this race, bagged the silver in the last Federation Cup with a timing of 16 minutes 08.36 seconds. Komal Chandrakant Jagdale of Maharashtra bagged the bronze medal in the last Federation Cup for returning a timing of 16 minutes 18.48 seconds. And that is Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra, still leading the pack, having Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh at the second spot, Kavita Yadav of Railways at the third spot, Savita Paul of Uttar Pradesh at the fourth spot. And they are the lead bunch, leaving the next two almost 40 meters beyond. And the next two happens to be Chavi Yadav of Madhya Pradesh and KM Lakshmi of Karnataka. The leaders will have to move for 21 more laps. And for the benefit of the viewers, those who have just joined, I'd like to present the afternoon schedule again. While the leaders will have to move for 20 more laps for this race, the afternoon schedule starts right at 1 p.m. And there we'll have to make a mention that leader happens to be Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra, Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh at the second place, and now there is a change in the third place. That happens to be Savita Paul of Uttar Pradesh taking over the third place, leaving Kavita Yadav of Railways to the fourth. Well, coming to the schedule for afternoon session of the concluding day, at 1 p.m., hammer throw final for women. At 2:30 p.m., hammer throw final for men. At 3:30 p.m., triple jump final for men. At 4 p.m. today, 200 meters final for men. At 4:10 p.m., 200 meters final for women competitors. At 4:15, it will be the final of discus throw for women. At 5 p.m., it will be the final of 4 times 400 meters relay for men competitors. And the last event for the concluding day of the 60th National Open Athletics Championship 2021 at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium here at Hanamkonda, Warangal will be at 5:10 p.m., which will be 4 times 400 meters relay final for women. And as we could see, Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra in the front, having Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh closer to her in the second spot, and with just 5 to 6 meters behind, we have Savita Pal of Uttar Pradesh and Kavita Yadav of Railways. And they are Chavi Yadav of Madhya Pradesh and KM Lakshmi of Karnataka occupying the 5th and 6th position at present. And that is Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra, smoothly sailing in the front, just looking at the back, noticing the lead as to how much she have over Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh. And again it is Kavita Yadav of Railways taking over the third spot, leaving Savita Pal of Uttar Pradesh to the fourth spot. Third and fourth remains 30 meters away from the leaders of this race, Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra, Jyoti of Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh. And that is Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra seems to be moving little away from Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh. And there also happens to be the gap between Kavita Yadav, the third place, leaving Savita Paul little behind for the fourth place. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra moving in front, and the gap is getting widened between her and Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh.
Friends, we will have the victory ceremony for the winners in 10,000 meters men. The first
And that is
event is
Chavi
the
Yadav of Madhya Pradesh and Kavita
Andhra
Yadav
Pradesh.
and KM Lakshmi of Karnataka for the fifth and sixth place.
Men.
And that is Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra.
Haryana pride,
She will have to go
Swarnavati,
for 17 more laps,
Manoj,
maintains the
and
lead,
Warangal,
leaving Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh almost 20 to 30 meters behind. And thereafter, 20 meters behind, we have Kavita Yadav of Railways.
Manoj Kumar from Haryana.
The top three runners maintain 20 meters in between them. Sanjeevani Baba Jadhav of Maharashtra, Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh, Kavita Yadav of Railways. The three we have seen, the fourth is just entering the frame.
The members of services.
Baba Jadhav of Maharashtra, comfortably moving through all along without any threat closer to her.
Going the race, found by Kumar, also from service.
And after the curve, she is entering the straights. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra maintains to be the leader all the time without any threat. And that is Chavi Yadav of Madhya Pradesh and Lakshmi of Karnataka for the fifth and sixth place. They are far behind the leaders.
Congratulations, winners. Thank you, Colonel Manoj, to the posting to this center.
And that is Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh at the second spot at present. Kavita Yadav of Railways, who was far behind, was able to go closer to Jyoti. Sanjeevani Baba Jadhav of Maharashtra maintains the lead, moving ahead, having a great distance between her and the second place, Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh. And Kavita Yadav of Railways, who was far behind, is catching up Jyoti closely, and she's at the third spot presently, following the second place. And that is Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra, the silver medal winner of the last Federation Cup, sailing very comfortably, having no threat at a close distance. Chavi Yadav and Kavita Yadav. Chavi Yadav and Lakshmi are the fifth and sixth place contestants. And that is Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra moving for 15 more laps. And as of now, for the past 3 to 4 laps, she is having no threat, getting separated by increasing the speed. She is moving in the front. And Kavita Yadav of Railways takes over the second place, leaving Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh to the third spot. And the distance between Kavita Yadav and Jyoti for the second and third place is at 15 meters. The leader of the race, Sanjeevini Baba Jadhav of Maharashtra, will have to go for 14 more laps. Well, that is Sanjeevani Baba Jadhav of Maharashtra will have to go for 8 more laps, being the leader. At the second spot, now we have
The 6-1 journey from Uttar
Savita
Pradesh,
Paul being followed
Warangal,
by Kavita Yadav.
5,000 rupees.
And that is Savita Paul of Uttar Pradesh is at the second spot. 430 Kavita Yadav of Railways in the third spot. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra moving in comfort without any threat closer to her. And almost she's having more than 350 meters lead. She is having second and third competitors 350 meters behind. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra moving in front. She will have to go for 7 more laps, and shortly she'll be catching up the second and third place to go for a 1 lap lead above them. And there is Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra. She happens to be the leader for the race all along, right from the very beginning. And there we could see KM Lakshmi of Karnataka, who is at the sixth place. And again, it is Kavita Yadav of Railways taking over for the second, leaving Savita Paul of Uttar Pradesh to the third. And that is Sanjeevani Baba Jadhav, who is just, she's having a lead of almost 380 meters over the second. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra, Kavita Yadav of Railways, Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh, and she is trying to, Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra is trying to catch up. The third place, Jyoti, Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh almost for 1 lap lead. She is about to catch. Yes, she had taken over and she is 1 lap lead over the third place, Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh, and she is moving further. And she's overtaking KM Lakshmi of Karnataka. And at this stage, Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra will have to go for 5 more laps.
You are very attentive, Bharata Patrol.
And also, it appears to be she'll be catching the second place, Kavita Yadav of Railways for 1 lap lead.
Very attentive, Bharata Patrol.
And there is second place, Kavita Yadav of Railways with bib number 430. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra with bib number 314 leading the race. We have 626 Savita Pal of Uttar Pradesh, and that is Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra moving in front, having a lead over the third place, 1 lap lead over the third place. And she's trying to catch up Kavita Yadav of Railways to make 1 lap lead over her. At present, Kavita Yadav of Railways with bib number 430 happens to be at the second spot. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra. Right from the start, she was the leader, maintaining the lead, and almost four of the athletes were running together one after the other so close for the initial laps of 5 to 6 laps, and thereafter two got separated. That is Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav and Jyoti, and they were moving together. And as a second bunch, it was Savita Pal and Kavita Yadav. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav could be seen trying to overtake the second place Kavita Yadav of Railways. If she overtakes, she'll be in one lap lead over Kavita Yadav. Yes, that is the point. You could see where she is overtaking and making one lap lead over the second place Kavita Yadav of Railways. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra. In front, she will have to go for three more laps, making one lap lead over the second place Kavita Yadav of Railways. Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh is at the third place as of now. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra had clocked a timing of 16 minutes 08.36 seconds to back the silver in the last Federation Cup. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra moving in front. She will have to go for two more laps. Only two more laps to go. Following her is 430 Kavita Yadav of Railways for the second spot. And there is 626 Savita Pal of Uttar Pradesh. That is Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav 314 representing Maharashtra. Puts herself in front over Savita Pal. That bell sound is the indication for the lead runner to go for the last lap in 10,000 meters women final. 314. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra moving in front, moving on top, having a comfortable one lap lead over the second and third contestants. That is Kavita Yadav of Railways. She is moving without any threat closer to her, and the threat is well beyond one lap. And that is Kavita Yadav of Railways, who is at the second place as of now. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav, the silver medalist of the last Federation Cup. She happens to be the silver medalist of the last Federation Cup, and that is Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra, approaching towards the finish without any threat, leader all along being the race, and she comfortably tops the race. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra right from the beginning had been leading the race, and in the initial 6 to 7 laps she was going as a leader for the bunch of four athletes, and after 6 to 7 laps it got separated as top two and next two, and after that she was able to make even more than one lap lead over Kavita Yadav 430 of Railways. And there is 615 Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh, 430 Kavita Yadav of Railways. She is executing the last curve for her race. Kavita Yadav 430 of Railways, who was all along in the top four, and moving on to second place for a very brief time, and again moving to the third place, and again she gained the second place, and that is the aerial view of this race. And Kavita Yadav of Railways is finishing for the second place comfortably. She was all along the race for the top four slots, and that is Savita Paul, who will have to move for one more lap. Savita Paul of Uttar Pradesh. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav of Maharashtra finished on top for the gold medal in this 10,000 meters race. Kavita Yadav of Railways finished for silver. There we could see Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh with bib number 615, and this is Savita Pal of Uttar Pradesh with bib number 626. There is Savita Paul of Uttar Pradesh. KM Lakshmi of Karnataka will have to go for one more lap for the completion of the race. Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh finished for the bronze, while that is Savita Paul with bib number 626 representing Uttar Pradesh is moving for the fourth place. That is KM Lakshmi of Karnataka. 626 Savita Paul of Uttar Pradesh had finished for the fourth place. Could see 251. KM Lakshmi of Karnataka executing the last curve, about to enter the home stretch for the finish of the race, that is 251. KM Lakshmi of Karnataka. Yes, that is 251 KM Lakshmi of Karnataka finishing for the fifth place. And that is the aerial view of the city from the drone, just surrounding this stadium. A beautiful aerial view around the stadium of Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium at Hanamkonda, Warangal. And that is the result for the final of 10,000 meters for women. Sanjeevani Babar Jadhav finishing for the top spot with 34 minutes 20.03 seconds. Kavita Yadav of Railways finishing for silver with 35 minutes 57.46 seconds. Jyoti of Uttar Pradesh finishing for the bronze with 36 minutes 37.90 seconds. Savita Paul of Uttar Pradesh finishing for the fourth place with 37 minutes 38.62 seconds. And KM Lakshmi of Karnataka finishing for the fifth spot with 38 minutes 35.07 seconds. Chavi Yadav of Madhya Pradesh, even though she was at the fifth place during the initial laps of the race, did not finish the race. And that happens to be the close of the morning session. And at this stage, it's for me to remind you again about the afternoon schedule. The afternoon schedule for the concluding day of the 60th National Open Athletics Championships 2021 will begin right at 1 p.m. with hammer throw final for women. At 2:30, it will be the final of hammer throw for men. At 3:30 p.m., the triple jump final for men. At 4 p.m., the final of 200 meters for men. At 4:10 p.m., the final of 200 meters for women. At 4:15 p.m., it will be the final of discus throw for women. At 5 p.m., it will be 4 times 400 meters relay final for men. And as the last event of 60th National Open Athletics Championship 2021 at Jawaharlal Nehru